Samurai Jack t-shirt. But pretty much I just wanted to come on here and talk about how I'm taking a break for a minute. I mean, I'm not going to be showing my face or whatever, upload something. It's most likely going to be on my other channel, which is in Saint Webster. You'll find it. And yes, it's actually me. It has like 4 subscribers right now, so go over there and subscribe after this video. But pretty much, I just wanted to come on here and talk about how basically I'm just taking a break. I got a lot of stuff going on in my life. I'm working 2 jobs now. I got books I'm writing. I still get dreams and visions from God and all this other stuff. And I'm still on TikTok and on my business page. But other than that, pretty much, I'm not going to be on here like that. And plus, two, I finally got a PS2 and I can finally play these Naruto games I've been wanting to play for a while. The point and a lot of other stuff that I got to buy, but that's a nostalgia thing. But point is that I'm not going to be on here for a minute. Don't know how long. There's still some stuff I got to sit here and talk about. I'm supposed to be off today. Hopefully, I am off today. But I just wanted to come on here and say that, repeating myself, that yes, I am going to be gone for a minute. If you want to reach out to me, send me stuff or whatever the case it is, I'm on Facebook. You can just message me on Paul Truther, my business page, and I'll respond. I'll respond. Don't, like I said before, don't come on my Instagram, and then all of a sudden you get triggered or whatever the case it is. And it's my business page. It's stuff I write. But not trying to deal with that dumb nonsense. Um, and also be of the fact that if you do take screenshots of anything that refers to my book cover, I actually can sue you. So be careful if you actually are on my page and you're screenshotting stuff, trying to have something against me. So there's that. And yeah, pretty much, I think my job is pretty much done. I mean, I've talked about the whole shift change thing, released the 2 videos about what the truth about what's really about to happen. And I basically said how don't affiliate with me with Shauna from Change is Coming. Now Change is Coming soon. And don't affiliate me with Daughter of Yahweh, or Cami. Um, but that's pretty much it. And other than that, I want to sit here and say that I don't have time for drama. I have a total of like people that follow me. I actually have a social media presence from my 3 Instagram pages and my TikTok, and then also have I got people that are my personal friends on my Facebook. But I don't have time for drama. Anything that people try and sit here and say that I'm slandering them or whatever the case it is, I don't have time for that. I was slandered myself. I have good intentions. I don't have ill intentions towards people, but I'm not. But I'm the type of person who I got to talk about something else. But I am the type of person where I'm not letting people blindly go to hell and follow somebody all because they're weak and they're soft and they want to wimp out from their faith. I'm not the type of person to just slander people like that. And I'm also the type of person to not care if I'm exposing you when the truth is the truth. I want to sit here and come on and say that at this point of where we're at right now, this is legitimately real and this is serious. At this point, the 2 people that I just mentioned in my video and the one I mentioned before, those people are false prophets. Those people have compromised themselves, and that's it. There you go. When somebody is sitting over here telling you that this whole mark of the beast thing isn't it, when this stuff can patent your DNA and this stuff is creating diseases, has a fancy name for it, can't really say the name, but it starts with Lucifer. And on top of that, I saw a video of a dude getting exorcised, and they were telling the demon to say its name, and it was the name of the quantum microdot needle that old Billy Boy has, and they didn't get the demon out of him, and it was attached to him forever. Um, it was like 10, 15 minutes long. But don't ever let somebody sit here and deceive you into thinking that isn't it. Illinois right now has a purge law that's going to be starting next year, not 25 months from now, not 6 months from now, not 8 months from now, but next year. We got 3 or 4 months until the end of the year is over with, and this is happening. Um, so yeah, and from whatever Sean from Change is Coming said about how basically possibility that we might never see the whole 144,000 thing, the shift change thing, or whatever the case it is. She's basically she's already done. She's already done. And basically, she even made a video about basically how somebody notified me of this, about basically how God is no longer speaking to her. And anything pretty much from what I just previously said about basically a possibility with this whole 144,000 thing, when somebody says all that, they are immediately a false prophet, because this is going to basically what people are talking about, stuff being a precursor. Because what I mentioned before is about the fact is what else is going to sit here and trigger the zombie apocalypse? These things aren't just going to randomly come out of nowhere. Where are they coming from? They're not going to be. They're putting this stuff in animals. So there's going to be zombie animals, and you can type in on Google zombie deer. You know, where's this stuff coming from? You know, so, and I also had a dream, was dwelling on this stuff. Like, I don't talk about a lot of stuff that God gives me, like, for obvious reasons. But God gave me a dream, and basically I saw Jesus was involved, and basically Jesus was affirming me, and God, or just go with God was affirming me that basically, I did the right thing, had no ill intentions towards these people, but I did the right thing, and I'm saving a bunch of people's lives. This stuff is it. This is nobody's problem. If you want to sit here and compromise or abandon your faith and be disobedient because people around you are dying, or because you're struggling with whatever emotion you're struggling with, like being bitter, that's nobody's problem. That's your personal problem. We've gotten to the point where now in the society where people are always catering to people's feelings, where at this point it doesn't matter, because as of next year, murder is officially going to be legal in Illinois. And I want to sit here and I want to talk about this for a second, because these people, I want to talk about this for a second of how serious this is, because I don't have time for this, to be arguing with people, going back and forth with people, all this other stuff. I don't care. You want to listen? If you don't want to listen, you want to compromise your faith or whatever the case it is, line up and take it, or sleep with somebody and get out of God's face. That's about as blunt as I am ever going to be, because God doesn't have time for it. I don't have time for it. And just because you aren't patient or whatever the case it is, that's nobody's problem. A lot of stuff that people are dwelling on or whatever the case it is, it's their personal problem. And a lot of people, as clearly as it's been shown, and it's been shown to me the last 2 years, that basically people aren't listening to God, or people are just abandoning God for whatever reason. But I want to sit here and talk about this Illinois thing, because I talked about this on my TikTok. They got rid of like the whole 10-minute thing or whatever. But the point is that this is serious. And now Illinois is one of the states. They had a map of basically a map of America, and the states that it would be worse, where the zombie apocalypse will be at. And one of the following states, where it was New York, I think it was Michigan, Illinois was one, California, and it was Florida. Those are the 4 or 5 states that I can think of where that actually is a thing. And Florida has Governor DeSantis, whatever the case name is, and he's a wolf in sheep's clothing, because he wants a civilian military, and then he also wants people's kids that are 10, either 5 or 10 and younger, to take them off of the beach. So that man is a fraud. Then there's New York, California, and if you know what's been going on in California and New York, I'm not going to sit here and explain all this stuff. And then there's Michigan, I think, and then now there's Illinois. There you go. And so these states and more, they're actually releasing criminals on the streets, high-level criminals and whatnot, and even in Ohio. I talked about how my friend was doing a GoFundMe for my friend, one of my friends, for the first time, and how basically over in Ohio, they ring them up in the system and then they let them back out on the street. So stuff like that, you need to brace yourself and you need to protect yourself. And then I also want to sit here and talk about that. Last month, and I don't talk about this stuff. I talk to people on the phone about this, mainly one person, but there's other people. But last month, I had nothing but shift change dreams. I had nothing but superpowered dreams, 144,000 dreams and whatnot, dimension dreams, and all this other stuff. All in the vicinity of last month. I was talking to somebody on the phone every single day about this stuff, about a dream I had, vision, where I was going, all this other stuff, and where God was taking me. All this happened last month. And lo and behold, this month, Joe Biden made a speech about basically how people that are patriots or support Donald Trump are terrorists, which that's actually a thing. Um, but that's like a whole nother story. The Queen of England dies, which is a major story. And then they come out with this bill um, over in Illinois. Now they're trying to sit here and debunk this bill and say that basically it isn't real or whatever the case it is or whatever it might be. But the truth of the matter of the fact is they're trying to sit here and debunk it because they know they're either getting caught or they don't care. All of in which case, who cares at this point? Because hold on, let me see. Hold on. Well, whatever. But I'm at 9%. I just had to check my phone. But the point is, of what I'm basically saying is that this stuff is no longer a joke, and this isn't something you should sit here and play with and be delusional in your mind and not care about it. Focus on your life and God and Jesus, all this other stuff, but also pay attention to the world around you and what's going on. So I want to sit here and talk about. I wanted to sit here and talk about that. I'm going to be gone for a minute. There is some stuff I got to post on here, but then pretty much I'm going to be posting on my backup channel, and that's another thing too. That basically, with all this stuff going on, I have my own channel of where I review my comic books. I talk about all this other stuff. And pretty much that's it. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be focused on this stuff. And pretty much I pay attention to stuff. I make people aware of this stuff. But also at the same time, God has also reaffirmed me multiple times, dozens of times, that basically I'm not responsible. I am responsible for people's lives, but also at the same time, I'm not, because I can only sit here and do so much. Just like how my mom sat here, took the mark of the beast after I told her 5 or 6 times, and now she's headed straight to hell, which is something I can admit, so there you go. So that, and also too, is I want to sit here and mention the fact that basically pay attention to who you follow. I'm an open, blunt person. I'm open about my life and what I do and who I am and all this other stuff. And I've been coming off pissy lately, pissed off, because a lot of this stuff has been gradually irritating, just paying attention to people's and their reaction. So that's my fault. But also at the same time, if you have empathy, you can actually relate to where I'm coming from, because, this stuff is serious. How can you not get pissed at the fact that, stuff like this is happening? I heard a story where a guy cut off a lady's head with a sword, and people, nothing. Heard another story where basically a woman was getting raped on a train or a bus, and people just sat there and did nothing. And I'm actually serious. And stuff like that, how can that not piss you off? But other than that, I want to sit here and say that, be careful who you follow, because, I'm legit. I speak my mind, what it is or whatever the case it is. Obviously when I've mentioned this before, that I'm not some false prophet, but, when I have dreams and visions from God, they happen, they come true. Where it's like, where I just have my personal opinions and running my mouth, I let you know the difference. When I let you know, and when I'm just talking, and God isn't speaking through me or whatever, I could be wrong. I'm always wrong. Just as a person. But outside of that, what was I want to sit here and say? I want to sit here and say about, be careful who you follow. You ever hear people that sit here and say stuff about the 144,000, then they add in their own opinion, like how I saw some dude's community post, how he was saying, the 144,000, saying all this other stuff, holograms and what they're going to be doing in their training. And then this dude sat here and said how basically you should be vegan or you shouldn't eat meat or whatever the case it is. Don't follow people like that. Don't ever follow people that are saying this stuff is a precursor. This stuff ain't going to happen in our lifetime. Don't ever sit here and follow people that are talking about making out with Jesus, which I've mentioned that from Shauna from Change is Coming. Like that part was weird. That's like in her old stuff, how she wanted to sit there and tongue kiss Jesus. But that's demonic. But that, and also too, is that, if somebody doesn't show if God is telling you, God does speak to people, and God isn't dumb. I'm not dumb. If the Holy Spirit and God is telling you that basically, something is wrong with this person when you're watching and listening to this person, or whatever the case it is, despite whether, I cuss, despite whether they cuss or not, you should pay attention to that, because that feeling that you get, obviously it's God, but it's telling you that this person, there's something fishy about this person. And you should follow that, and whatever it is, through confirmation, all this other stuff, you should basically, continue to talk to God, and God will answer your prayers, off rip. I'm not going to sit here and talk about what God told me, because I got like 8% or 7% now on my phone. But the point is that be careful who you follow, because this is serious. Because at this point, if you follow the wrong person, and this is also another thing, you have to go to God. Talking about this stuff is one thing. Saying all this stuff and these dreams and these visions and all this other crap is one thing. It's not crap, but my point is that all this is nice. But when the camera is off, the lights are off, nobody's watching, who are you as a person? What's her face that I mentioned before? She's a mean-spirited person. And obviously she's a false prophet, but she's a mean-spirited person. And she's also bitter. Who are you when the lights go off? This is something that you need to understand. And I got to make another video about this, about, people's character and stuff, because people's character is how basically is how God is able to speak to people, and why God picks certain people. This stuff is mentioned in the Bible, but if you step outside the Bible, this is why, So, other than that, I want to also sit here and say, what else do I want to sit here and say? That always go to God. And also, I do want to sit here and say that, no matter what you do, like whether you celebrate Sabbaths, feast, whatever you do, these holidays for Jesus and God, all this other stuff, you can do all that. Because I do want to make this clear. A lot of people don't know all this. You can do all that, but God will literally laugh at, not in a bad way, but God will literally laugh at the fact that you're celebrating a feast or a holiday for Him, and your character isn't there. You're not willing to change, and you're not willing to change. Your character isn't there. There's a lot I'm saying in there. You just got reading between the lines, and you're just a mean-spirited person. You can sit here and do all these things, or whatever the case it is, and dress all fancy and nice, but at the end of the day, God can read your mind and see through your heart and your intentions. Basically, whether you're having a feast or celebrate Sabbath or whatever the case it is, God takes it as basically you're trying to seduce Him, and you're trying to sit here and get a dream or vision from Him, when literally you're disobedient and you don't respect God. Obviously everybody's not perfect, whatever the case it is. And there's a Bible quote for basically, everybody falls short of the glory of God. Many are called, but few are chosen. But the point is that, if you aren't willing to change as a person of who you are and who you are with God, and to drop your pride or whatever the case it is, being angry, all this other stuff is one thing, but not dropping your pride is a whole nother thing, which is why Lucifer fell from heaven. If you aren't willing to do these things, then what you're celebrating is in vain. An individual I talked to, hold on. Individual I talked to, his sister took the mark of the beast, and she was the type of person that followed the people I mentioned, basically celebrate Sabbaths and feast, and she was rejecting anybody that had the mark of the beast. But when it came to somebody that she wanted, in terms of sex, being married in a relationship, when it came to somebody that she wanted that was attractive, she abandoned her faith and she compromised. She slept with this person. She knew what she was doing, and she just sold her soul for dick. Excuse my language, but there you go. And she did all these things, and she was obviously disobedient, and she abandoned her faith and many other things. You can sit here and do all these other, do all this stuff, this fancy stuff, or whatever the case is, pray 5 times a day. But at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. What matters is the most is where you stand and where you're at with God. And God can speak for Himself. But if you aren't willing to listen and to just abandon basically this world and deny your flesh, basically the old man in you, and and resist temptation and practice abstinence or whatever the case it is, you know, then you fall. Point blank, period. So I want to sit here and say all that, and I'm going to be gone for a while, but that, and pretty much I've told you everything. I've told everybody everything. I have like 126 followers now. I don't care if it goes down. I really don't care. But another reason why God likes me. But this is the message I have for you. So pretty much, I gotta post like two things that I found on YouTube. There's that, and I gotta do something on character and whatnot. But my phone's at like five, almost 5% now. But pretty much that's it. Um, that video I made about basically the truth about what's really about to happen. That is what I've been holding back. That is what God has been telling me. This stuff is about to happen. This stuff is real. Um, Also, I've been seeing TikToks of people that have superpowers that can do hydrokinesis, controlling water, telekinesis, manipulating objects, all this other stuff. People that are witches, people that aren't witches, people that have the mark of the beast. I have it on my second channel. If you type in Saint Webster, you find my other channel, Saint Webster the Great. This guy, his eyes is changing, and then his thumb is extending and growing. It's not fake. It's not photoshopped. It's real. Um, so I want to sit here, come on and say that. And, yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. My job pretty much is almost done. I mean, it is done, but there's other stuff I gotta make people aware of. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to come on here and say all this. I hope you guys have a blessed day. You enjoy yourselves. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So bye.